Hey, are you new to No Rest for the Wicked? I wanted to put a little comprehensive guide for new players and what I think you should be doing, little tips and tricks here and there. I'm not going to put any spoilers in here, so don't worry. We're going to skip through some of the juicy bits. We're going to go over from runes, infusion, weapons, combat, every little thing that I think could help you in your journey. I know that this game is tough. And now before you guys start keyboard warring all over the comments saying, oh my god, this game is so easy. No, it's not. The game is tough, and I acknowledge that. And so maybe this video can be helpful for you. Yeah, let's dive right in. We're gonna approach this as a new player, creating a new realm. And this is exactly things that I think will help you in your journey. You approach at the beach. If you're doing the campaign, you're gonna go through a story first, and then you'll be landing on the beach here. So first and foremost, these things on the ground that you see, they're not useless. Pick up everything. Okay, this is not one of my first tips that I want to give you as I'm playing this right now is that don't treat this like an ARPG or Souls like a Zelda, a Fable, because this is not that. This is No Rest for the Wicked. So everything that you know about your previous game titles like Last Epoch, Path of Exile, or Diablo-like games, throw that out of the window because this is not those games. When you have trees like this that you can cut and or resource that you can get, like punching this crab right here, would get you crab meat. And you pick that up so you can cook food later, which is essentially your HP. Food heals you in this game. You see this ore as well. This is going to be something that you need to focus on as well. But we don't have a pickaxe right now. Don't worry, you'll get one very, very soon. Same thing with this tree. You're gonna need to chop trees down. You're gonna need to dig these dig spots with a shovel that you'll get in a little bit. This dead body here on my south of me will have something important. A weapon. This is your first weapon and is random, whatever weapon you get. So you could choose to play this random weapon from beginning to end game if you want. This game allows you to have that freedom. We got actually unlucky because I've never played this weapon, but I will show you guys that you can make any weapon work, even in the beginning phases. And here we approach combat, which if you probably already started, you went through some tutorial. You can choose to engage this combat with a couple of different things. You can either use your sprint button and wait for the right moment to attack. You can parry. You can parry and you can then go behind them and backstab. That way of combat might be a little bit more difficult for the average person. It's all about learning the mechanics. Hold up. That last sentence sounded really bad. I know I definitely don't want to come across as pretentious. I just played a lot of this game, close to more than 200 hours. So I have a lot of the mechanics down of the game. I've died many times to monsters just swiping me like that. So don't worry. It will probably take you a couple of hours. And if it doesn't, cool, you're like way better. That's awesome. You probably won't have a lot of problems with the game then. So you can approach that combat with pairing. Oh, we just got a fishing rod, by the way. You can also fish. Equip the fishing rod, and then you go out to this little thing where you see fish swimming, and then you get to fish. One tip that I will give you, before you interact with a chest, a fishing spot, a mining spot, a chopping tree spot, make sure that you've cleared all the monsters that could be surrounding you, because they will interrupt you while you're doing that, and it's sometimes really hard to cancel out of any activity that you're currently doing. And you could die by simply just fishing if you didn't clear the mobs that were around you. Same thing with the chest. Don't just say chest, oh my god, me, chest, let me go get that chest. Make sure that you're clearing the monsters around you. These monsters all have different attack patterns. So it's not going to work the same on every monster. It's okay to die, and it's okay to come back and try again. Remember pairing as well. You could choose the pairing option for your combat. You could choose the backstabbing for your combat. And then these guys here that shield bash you sometimes, shield bash cannot be parried. We're gonna roll for this combat right here. So we see him, we roll, And we're not gonna backstab, though we could have killed him there with backstab. We're gonna roll and then just swipe. Swipe him to death. You can also hold a heavy attack. Which, for this weapon in particular, I think heavy attack is much better. And you can approach combat that way as well. Every little encounter that you have in this game will feel like that. In this upcoming chest, you will be given 3 ingredients to cook. 3 ingredients or 2 ingredients.
Hello,
so you
hello,
can
good morning, Elly and chat.
In every campfire, you can interact with it by pressing Y and then start to cook food. This is your resource to everything. Sometimes the game does get a little tough and you're gonna need to consume more. That's why I'm telling you right now, every little mushroom you see, pick it up. Every little herb you see, pick it up. The dev has done very good improvements on adding more materials on the ground for you to not starve. You just leveled up, you just got some stats. You press the start button or whatever brings this menu, if you use keyboard or mouse, I don't know. You open this menu, go to stats, and this is where you can allocate your points. If you put insight, it opens up a little more information on what they do. Obviously, health increases your HP. Stamina is your ability to be able to dodge like this a lot, or sprint, or your weapons. Your weapon swings do take stamina. If you look at the weapon that you got, it should tell you scales with, and you see that little symbol and that other little symbol? It scales with strength, and I forgot the name of that skill. Let's look at it. It's a little book. So strength makes that weapon particularly stronger, and intelligence. So you can combine a little bit of intelligence and strength to make your weapon stronger. I would probably go with intelligence more, strength more. And all these weapons work that way. Look at your weapon. If it's a strength weapon, you will do more damage, and you'll be able to equip weapons to their full capacity if you meet the requirements that they tell you. For this particular weapon, we need strength and intelligence, but because I think you'd already do pretty decent damage early on, you can also focus on equipment load if you want to wear heavier armor, be tankier, but you want to be able to still keep your light rolls. If you're familiar with Souls game, you have light, medium, and heavy armor. Heavy armor makes you go slower, but you tank more, right? Usually heavy armor, you're stronger, you're tankier, but you're a lot slower, you roll slower. Light armor allows you to be evasive like this, more agility. Depending on the weapon or whatever you want to go, you can truly customize your experience. As a new player, if you want my opinion and my tip, what you should focus on, HP is never a bad thing. Never a bad thing. So you could go HP, or you could go heavy on focus as well in the beginning. So for this playthrough, we're gonna go health. And you might be asking yourself, well, what if I messed up later? Can I respec? Yes, you can respec in this game. In this game, you will be giving items called Fallen Ember. Fallen Ember allows you to respec at a certain point. You can respec in this game very early on. It might be a little problematic for you to respec, but don't worry. If you happen to spec in the wrong place, it's not that big of a deal in this game. It's not like it makes a night and day difference at early levels. When you get to a high enough level, you will be introduced to the Crucible. The Crucible is a mid-game to late-game, in-game progression system. It is a gauntlet, roguelike mechanics of a little gauntlet arena where you defeat monsters and you clear a boss at the end. Clear up to level 5 of the Crucible, and you can unlock an option to respec. When do you do that? Then you'll be able to use those Fallen Ember to respec. I believe it's 1 Fallen Ember for 9 points. It's a really good deal. And if you're thinking, how common are these Fallen Embers? I could probably show you how common they are. Let me run into a chest real quick. So every time you open a chest, there's a really high probability that you can get a fallen ember. Let's see if we get one now. There we go, a fallen ember. It's a really high chance, especially in the earlier zones, I've noticed. So you can stack a nice chunk of these fallen ember before you get to the respeccing thing. So you'll probably have around 20, give or take, a fallen ember right before you hit that wall where you can respec. Let's get you to the very first important part of this game. Fillmore. There's a quest. There's a blacksmith that is trapped right here, right next to us.
Just give us back the gates.
And he has 3 monsters you have to beat. That is where you can get a different weapon. If you're unlucky and you get an ugly weapon you don't want to go through the game with, you can respec that. Let's see. So this is part of the quest. We get a key here to open this quest. And then you're going to save the blacksmith from these 3 bullies. This is going to be probably a little challenging. Remember, you could just back out and approach this, you know, a little bit slower, thinking about it. Heavy swings here, back out a little bit. Another heavy swing. You're gonna take some damage. Be okay. Don't sweat it. This is how you should approach combat, by the way. Not necessarily trying to maul everything one really fast. You're not rushing this game, okay? And then when you see you're low health, you could just back up. Eat your little food. And now that we successfully saved Fillmore, remember, pick everything, by the way. Pick every little thing that you get off the ground. It is very important that you are picking up everything.
How's that, you bastards? Who's squealing now?
This is a blacksmith that you just saved.
But I got my damn suppose.
When you save your blacksmith, you can now buy whatever weapon you want. You can buy whatever weapon you want after you reach this blacksmith. Say you wanted to try out longsword, a hunter's axe, a straight sword, a wand, a mace, a dagger. Everything plays very uniquely and very different. So choose wisely what you want to buy. You can even sell your gear so you could get some money out of this. And if you don't have enough money, don't worry. Play around with the game. Go around, explore in this area so you could get some money. And the repairs are free this time. When you die, you do lose durability on your gear. It's more lenient now. I would suggest for a new player to pick up this sort of thing. As soon as you find your first blacksmith, buy your life tools. Buy your life tools. Trust me, you want to do that. Now, once we bought all of our tools, we equip them right here at the beginning. This is the most important tip, by the way. And then what you want to do is just go around chopping everything and digging everything and then going back to the ocean or the beach, and just start chopping trees down. You may be wondering, why do you need to chop the trees, Elly? Well, there's projects that you need to do once you get to your first city. Once you get to the first city, you get to do, build your city. You get to build your city, and you're gonna need a lot of these materials, so it's best if you chop them down. That way they have time to regrow when you decide to come back here. There's a lot of these places that you've already walked that have mining ore, that have digging spots. And just kind of have fun, you know? go around doing this. There's no more monsters. The monsters will respawn later on. The zones work like that, where they respawn after a certain time. Usually, you can open your map and tell how long these areas will be back up. If it's grayed out, that means that, or if it's blacked out like this, that means that the monsters are more likely respawned already. If it's still lit up and you've recently cleared that area, chances are that the monsters are dead. So yeah, I'm gonna skip ahead in this video to talk about the ruins system. As soon as you get into town, I'm gonna try to avoid major spoilers of the game, but this is very important knowledge to have. Go around and chop your trees down, pick up some ore, open chests for these fallen embers. Remember to look around every nook and cranny, because there might be a chest waiting for you and some fallen ember there. This is a good example of secrets and little crannies that they put in the game. This can be broke by either swinging your weapon or rolling through it. They have a lot of these little moments in the game where you can explore. So think about it as a puzzle in Legend of Zelda, where you complete a puzzle and you get a chest. Cue the music. And then you get 2 fallen ember. And you get I got a weapon. I can choose to use this weapon now. This is a 2-handed staff. Mage works a little bit different in this game, where in most games, you automatically have mana and it gets depleted. In this game, you have to work for your mana and then it gets depleted. Hey, remember, if you're having trouble clearing a boss, then you can go back and re-level a little bit. Get better gear, don't forget that. You can bash your head against a wall if you want, so you can beat it. You could even take off all your gear and really challenge yourself if that's what you want. But that's not really what is intended. If the game is telling you, hey, your gear is broken, maybe you should repair it. Maybe you should stop trying to bash your head against that boss, find another way, level your gear, get more stats. It usually has a good job at telling you on the top right of your screen if something is too high level. There's also a skull on top of monsters that are way above your level. So remember, if something seems a little too difficult, maybe you could find another way, another path, and then come back later. Okay, so congratulations. You have beat your first boss. Okay, so congratulations, you beat the boss. Now you are at this lady.
First the tavern,
Caroline. Caroline wants something from you.
got me in.
As soon as you talk to Caroline, she tells you where to go. She tells you to go save her husband. If you open your map, you have these points of interest. You can ignore her request and go to this one. Or you can go and do her request right now, which is to save her husband. I would suggest to go save her husband. It's good to unlock it, because it's a chef. It would unlock more recipes and more food in the game. This is the first town. You'll be introduced with a lot of nice little things here. Like this merchant here has some pretty nice things you can buy. I wouldn't waste a lot of my money right now on buying stuff. The merchants reset every day, 5 a.m. local time. Your time. Wherever that is, whenever that is, it's 5 a.m. local time. This game does a lot of these little things where NPCs reset, your weeklies and dailies reset at 5 a.m. local time, your local time. And special NPCs spawn at certain local times. And you're probably wondering, oh my god, that boss that I just did really did a number on me, and I have no food anymore. I have very limited food. Well, what we're going to talk about right now is the Infusion, Enchantment, and Rune System. This lady, Eleanor, basically sells you ruins. She has the return ruin, which means if you buy one of these weapons, you can slot this ruin on a basic weapon, so you can you are granted the ability to warp back to Sacrament, which is this town, your town. The healing aura heals. Channeling. Raise your weapon to channel sacred energy, sacrificing your health to gain focus and enhance your mystical powers. Yes, you can combine this to have some pretty cool effects on a throwaway weapon like this one, or another weapon. You can basically attach the healing aura and the channel aura. So you sacrifice your health to gain focus / mana, and then you can heal yourself back to full. There's a lot of little cool scenarios, a lot of cool things you can do with this in combination. So prepare, before you engage a fight, you can build a large focus before a boss is, you're about to fight a boss. Build a large focus pool, so when you enter the boss, you just blast, 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 blast. Obviously, there's some stuff that's still gonna be difficult. Then you have the repair rune in case you don't have any money. You can do a combination of repairing your gear with this repair rune. Illuminate is another good tool that you're gonna probably want to attach to a separate weapon as well. Illuminate basically uses focus, 25 focus, to use this as a torch. And you're gonna really need to do this in later places where the rooms become really dark. So yeah, you can do that with throwaway weapons. Don't sell them. They're planning to add a lock feature to the game, so that's gonna help in case you accidentally sell your items. Let's talk about the other feature in the game. Enchant. Enchant basically is like a gamble. You can click on a weapon at for a chance to roll better stats. So let's take an example. This white staff that I have, and this can only be used on white normal items. And it gives you a little warning. Beware, doing this will remove your last 3 gem slots. Once invoked, it cannot be reversed. We'll talk about the gem slots in a second. So we're gonna do it just because, for the sake of it. It basically has a chance to give your weapon purple stats or blue stats. So I got a blue staff, which is nothing but positives, which is really good for me right now because purple could be a little bit scary for early game. It has some negative drawbacks when you are playing purple enchanted gear. So we kind of high rolled for the beginning of the game. But don't worry, if you do happen to roll purple, you can really make a lot of situations work. In fact, for me at in-game, I don't want any blue weapons. I want purple weapons. I can work with the negative effects of purple. So you'll figure out how to figure, use your brain, tune some things, look up some guides for some builds and stuff. But we rolled blue, so that means we have nothing but positive effects. We keep all our ruin slots, all our skills, and we got nothing but positives. Item durability increased by 53%, damage increased by 2% for each nearby enemy. That's pretty good. Infusing is a system that I'm a little bit unhappy with right now. It could definitely use some quality of life, but let me tell you how it works right now. Infusing, basically, you choose a weapon or any piece of gear, let's say this body right here, and you can infuse these little gem slots that you probably picked up 1 or 2. You get these gems by opening chests, digging, and or mining, I believe. You could get some chests from mining, digging, and opening chests, defeating bosses too, I believe, as a reward. You can basically slot these and they tell you what they do. This blue gem says focus cost decreased by 2% to 5%. If you're working with white gear, you can basically put up to 4 gems on white gear. If you're working with blue gear or purple gear, you can only enchant 1 time. Gems, 0 out of 1. And they change, yeah, basically that. But here is something that you need to remember. Gems are a little bit more on the rare side. Gems are a little bit more on the rare side, 1. And number 2, you cannot remove them. So once, and this is my problem with the infuse system, I'm sure they'll change it later on in a hotfix. I'm almost 1,000% willing to bet that. Right now, they're permanent. So due to the game allowing you to take a level 1 weapon all the way to in-game, it kind of is a little bit bad. It's really bad. That allowing you to take a beginner weapon all the way to in-game to be your best weapon. And if you decided very early on with no knowledge of the game that if you slot a gem, you're kind of locking yourself in. It bricks builds. So if I put this focus on these pair of pants, but later on I wanted to build frost to build up on my pants to make my build better, I can't. I have to find a new pair of pants to do that. And I think it's not the best way that the system works right now. So if you kind of wanted to hold off on your gems because of that, you know, maybe think about what build you're going for first before doing gems. Now let's talk about runes. Runes are your skill system. Every weapon pretty much has 1 to 4 skills already in them. If I wanted to, I look at my staff right now. I have a fire staff mostly and an empty skill slot at A. I could take this weapon, another staff, and look at these ruins. I can extract these ruins here. I could choose to destroy it so I can free up a slot, or I can extract a ruin to use it on another weapon. But extracting the ruin will destroy the weapon. So remember, if you choose to extract, it's going to destroy your weapon and it'll give you the ruin that you want. You could do this on throwaway gear, it'll be fine. I do this, I don't necessarily mind this system. I think the system is actually great. But destroying the ruin to free up a slot will destroy that ruin, just so you know. The only items you cannot destroy or extract ruins from is unique items. On unique items, you cannot destroy. Yeah, if you guys have any further questions on the enchantment, infuse, and rune system, please leave it down in the comments below, and we'll get back to you on that one. Remember all those items and resources I told you to pick up? Well, you're gonna use them now. You just made it to your first town. Traveling up here will bring you to a nice fella that usually stands right here. This NPC usually stands right here, but since we just entered the town, we have to do something before he appears. We have to basically visit this right here. So right here is where you will use all of your materials, like your wood, your minerals, your clay that you were digging up, and you can upgrade your town. Eleanor, the ruin NPC, the woodworker, the blacksmith, the tailoring sisters, all of these can be upgraded with materials. When you talk to this guy, you can choose to upgrade their stands. They got tier 1 all the way up to tier 3 workshops. And when chopping trees, minerals, you'll be able to do this. One tip that I will tell people is stop trying to rush this system. One more tip before we close this off and give you my final tips. Oh my God, aren't you guys lucky? You're getting a lot of tips today. So here we go. Upon entering the town, you get that Caroline quest to save her husband, the chef. You will also be giving another quest. This quest right here. Entering the rookery. We're gonna skip this cutscene, okay? One of the things in this game that you'll definitely have to work with, another type of currency in this game, is Plague Ichor. Plague Ichor is given to you by defeating bosses. Let's take a look at that. Defeating bosses and other challenges like a bounty gives you a Plague Ichor. A Plague Ichor is basically another type of currency in the game that unlocks more slots for inventory, more ring slots, more weapon slots, and I will tell you what you should be doing as a new player. So this is the Plague Ichor system. I have one for defeating the first boss. Now, you will be able to choose what you want to unlock here. I personally suggest people to do a ring slot. That's what I would do. You can obviously choose whatever you want. If it's a convenience sake and you like to do more life skilling, maybe you want to upgrade your food inventory, your consumer inventory, maybe even your gear inventory, your inventory slots. I personally suggest ring. Rings are very powerful. But before I tell you guys to do this, note that rings are a bit more uncommon, so it wouldn't be too crazy if you unlock a ring slot and you never get a second ring to equip. Just keep that in mind. It's a very real possibility that you might not even have a second ring slot. With that in mind, you can do that. If you don't really want to take that gamble and you want another slot, I think an inventory slot is pretty good, so you're not constantly, since you're picking up a lot of stuff, inventory, having more room to explore on the outside is pretty good. This is your currency, by the way, your inventory. So the more gear you pick up, you just sell and you get more money. More money is good. It's never a bad thing, right? And then if not that, then I would do inventory. There is the other option of getting another main hand slot, so you can equip 2 weapons. And the combinations of 2 weapons, having 2 weapons is pretty nice. As far as tips is concerned, I think we're kind of done here. Yeah, and remember, what the biggest tip that I have is, if I've said the biggest tip like a million times already, but this one is a real one. Don't approach this game like it's something you've played in the past. No Rest for the Wicked is not trying to be a Souls-like. No Rest for the Wicked is not trying to be a Path of Exile. No Rest for the Wicked is not trying to be a Zelda. It's trying to do a combination of a lot of these little genres to make their own original experience. And so far I've been having a lot of fun. If it's a little bit challenging, which it is a little bit of challenging, when you get around to it, it makes things really fun. So don't give up. Stick in there and, you know, go at your own pace. That's my best suggestion. I think we covered a lot here. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And if you want a part 2, if this video does well, we'll do a part 2 about mid-game to in-game progression. Maybe even tips and tricks to defeating bosses if you guys are struggling on a specific boss. We also do this on twitch.tv/Elly. I've been streaming this game for about 10 to 16 hours every single day since the Breach update, and I like to help people, so if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you could go there as well. Yeah. Hey, you. I'm tired of being the hero around here. How about you be the hero for once? Hit the subscription button. Come on, do it. You know you wanna.